Hi everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Jasmine from Yunnan, China. I'm a student at the University of Melbourne.
Hi, my name is Bailey. I'm from Wuhan, China. I'm also a student from UniMelb.
Hi, I'm Weiwei from Chengzhou, China. I'm in UniMelb too.
Here, we're gonna explore in depth how media censorship affects society, and in particular, how censorship in China shapes gender perceptions and its impact through the movie Lost Caution. First, let's talk about censorship in China.
Censorship aims to protect political, religious, and national interests. Many countries began to implement censorship in the early 20th century to control the content of visual entertainment for their citizens. China has established and maintained a strict censorship system for all visual areas, including movies, television, and the internet, which remain unchanged. China operates a movie censorship system rather than a liberal classification system.
Yeah, this strict censorship not only limits the public's access to diverse narratives, but also inadvertently shapes people's understanding of gender roles and relationships, leading to a homogenization of gender perceptions. Next, let's share our experience of using media in China.
When I got into international high school, I started using VPN and then I started to be in touch with discussions about sex and gender. When I wanted to watch movies on related topics, I could only watch them through Chinese pirate sites or using VPN.
Yeah, I have similar feelings. I often access uncensored foreign movies via VPN. It's really frustrating. I want to learn about different narrative techniques, but these restrictions prevent me from legally accessing these resources. I believe that censorship not only hinders access to a wide range of stories, but also limits a comprehensive understanding of global gender dynamics and identities.
Talking about censorship, I've noticed that it's much stricter now than it was before, especially when it comes to movie. My friends and I use Weibo for news on music, movies, and culture in junior high. I found a list of Yuri films, including Intimates. It was my first exposure to lesbian culture, learning that Yuri implied a simple, beautiful love between women. I later watched Saving Face and Butterfly, but all were made before 2005. After high school, lesbian films seem to vanish. Nowadays, it can be said that lesbian movies are banned from production and release in China.
And censorship not only controls what people can see, it also affects the perception of gender roles and understanding of diverse identities. But strict censorship is not just for homosexuality. Anything about sexuality, women's desires, and politics is highly likely to be censored and limited in distribution.
The plot of the movie Lost Caution has been widely discussed because it contains sex scenes. More importantly, it explores female desire, power dynamics, and gender autonomy, revels emotional and power-linked dynamics, portraying a complex female character unfamiliar to many Chinese audience, making it a lasting reference in discussions on gender and censorship.
The reason why Lost Caution is restricted is because it was censored for its explicit sex themes, its challenge to traditional gender roles, and its unconventional portrayal of women's roles. The government considered these elements to be too provocative and could affect social morality and shake up established gender norms. What do you think?
I think there are two things from the movie can analyze why it was banned and what kind of gender concepts were portrayed. The first is its explicit sexuality. In the movie, the female protagonist Wang佳芝used her body to exchange information about her enemy, Mr. Yi. At this point, her body is a symbol of power. Secondly, the content of it goes against the Chinese political philosophy that Wang佳芝falls in love with her enemy and chooses to let him go.
And the movie's setting of the female protagonist achieving political goals through sex was also seen as too subversive. Because of this, the movie was drastically cut or even banned altogether, limiting its discussion of gender autonomy and female empowerment.
Next, let's focus on what kind of gender perceptions censorship shapes for us. Porn media censorship has caused a lot of controversy, respectively censorship feminism and anti-censorship feminisms. Some anti-pornography feminisms, such as Catherine McKinnon and Andrew Dorkin, believe that pornography serves as a tool for male domination. Some pornographic content objectifies women as subordinate to men or depicts them as serving a male presence. However, McAuliffe argues that banning pornographic content increases its allure. Similar to Lost Caution, China's strict censorship of pornographic media causes viewers to focus on the film's pornographic themes rather than its content, overshadowing its complexity and the inner struggles of the female protagonist.
The censorship of Lost Caution has had a profound impact on gender perceptions in Chinese society, particularly on the understanding of women's sexual autonomy. Most notable is the blocking of Tang Wei for playing the female lead. It shows how women are often harshly punished when they express their sexuality or break traditional boundaries. This incident sends a clear message to society that women's sexuality must be controlled and that any behavior beyond the established roles will come with a heavy price. In contrast, men's displays of sexuality in Chinese media tend to be more tolerated and even taken for granted. This difference not only creates inequality, but also reinforces gender stereotypes, suggesting that male desire is natural and acceptable, while women's desire must be hidden or suppressed. The censorship of Lost Caution thus optimized the gender dynamics of Chinese society, reflecting how limited the space for women to express their independence and sexuality is.
The sex scenes in Lost Caution are considered too explicit through censorship, which associates sex with shame. The censorship erases the complexity of the character played by Tang Wei. The protagonist uses sex as power breaks the stereotypes of traditional gender roles. This could indicate a discussion about female autonomy and desire. However, censorship of the movie and Tang Wei reinforced the notion that female sexuality is dangerous and should be suppressed, solidifying the idea of female passivity and subordination. Public displays of female sexuality are seen as challenging the social and moral order, reinforce the dichotomy between sex and shame.
Finally, the incident had a selling effect on the entire movie industry. Directors and screenwriters are more cautious by avoiding themes of female autonomy, sexuality, and non-traditional gender roles. Consequently, this leads to more homogenized gender narratives and limited discussions on women's roles and gender diversity in Chinese society.
Well, that's pretty much for today's discussion. Today, we talked about China's censorship has largely affected society's perception of gender, limiting the presentation of diverse and complex images of women. The blocking of Lost Caution and Tang Wei reveals how female autonomy and sexuality are suppressed in Chinese society. Do you guys have any final thoughts?
I think it also reminds us that promoting a more open and inclusive media environment is crucial to achieving a more comprehensive understanding of gender roles.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Alright, thank you for listening to our program, and we hope this discussion inspires you to think further about gender representation in the media.
If you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share it with your friends. See you in the next installment.